Folks, welcome into the Trainwreck Sports Fantasy Show. We're going to be breaking down some baseball for you. It is week 7. I'm your host here, Ty B, stepping in for Wake, and we got some guy named Steve here joining me once again. We're going to have a ton of, guys to pick up, names to sell high on and buy low on as well. But we got to start here. Another no-hitter, the 5th of the year, Steve, which is, I believe, just had the record pretty much for the earliest that this has ever been done in a season. The record is 8. You think they're going to be able to get there? Because it seems like it.
I mean, they're on a pretty good pace right now. We got Spencer Turnbull was the 5th one yesterday through a no-hitter. 9 scoreless. He struck out 9, 2 walks. But it's just these are guys who are throwing no-hitters that, aren't the most dominant pitchers in baseball. You got Wade Miley, who threw one, Spencer Turnbull, Joe Musgrove, John Means, and Carlos Rodon. I mean, we haven't seen guys like, DeGrom, Bieber, the aces, Kershaw, throw no-hitters. So if we got 5 already with guys who have just been kind of average to, above average starters in their career, I think it's going to smash over the 8 number. I really think we could see maybe double-digit no-hitters this year.
Absolutely. Guys are just striking out like at astronomical rates this season. I think the league average is under 230 or right around there this year. And you've had the Tigers who've been absolutely abysmal. And a team, that played the Tigers the other night and got no hit again, the Seattle Mariners. And we got to talk about the Mariners making some big call-ups this past week. Jared Kelenic and Logan Gilbert making his first career start as well. Steve, what did you see from them in that game, and what do you like about them possibly going forward here?
So, I mean, I've been high on Kelenic and Gilbert. I think they're 2 of the higher ceiling prospects in baseball right now. Kelenic right now, he's batting 160. He's got only 1 home run, 1 steal, and he obviously didn't get a hit in the game against Turnbull. But I've seen a lot of good things from Kelenic besides what the stats say. He had 3 extra base hits in his second career major league game, hit an absolute, no doubt, like line drive home run. And he's got that rare power speed combo that it's kind of hard to find, especially in the waiver wire at this point in the season. The 160 average, he's a rookie. I'm not going to look too into that. He's not striking out too much, only 6 strikeouts in his first 6 major league games, which is a good sign to see for a rookie. Swinging a little early in the count, I think, he'll get discipline as he logs more games. But Kelenic is absolutely a guy, who's going to be rostered the rest of the year. I don't see how he wouldn't be. And he's got the ceiling to really become one of those, 5-tool players that are drafted in the first, 2-3 rounds. For Gilbert,
absolutely.
Kind of he's not as, highly touted as Kelenic, but Gilbert, he looked good in his first start. I know he went 4 innings, he gave up 4 runs, but he struck out 5, and he got 10 swinging strikes in just 4 innings against the Indians. Did give up a couple of home runs. One was to Jose Ramirez. And in his start, he just kind of was just throwing fastballs the first 2 innings. And when you do that at the major league level, guys are just going to time it. They're going to sit on it. And if you don't locate properly, it's gone. You're a high fastball to Jose Ramirez, that's what happened. But he doesn't walk a lot of batters, and that's a really big sign for me, for rookies, for prospects, for any guys with high ceilings, is location. If he can locate well, the stuff's going to be there. And as we saw when he started to throw his slider in inning 3 and 4, got a lot more strikeouts, struck out the last 3 batters he faced, and he pitches again tonight against the Tigers. So I'm excited to see his second start, see if he's learned from some things, and see if he's a guy that, you want to own for the rest of the year.
No, absolutely. Especially if he can get that K rate up there. Yep. He's a guy with 4 pitches. If he can use that curveball, and he's got a nice, pretty decent changeup as well to offset that 97-mile-per-hour fastball. Big 6'6" guy, tons of potential out of him. So you love to see that. And another guy who has, arm potential and batting potential, Shohei Ohtani out there in the AL West. It still hasn't been the best year yet for the Angels, but Shohei Ohtani taking the home run lead yet again. It's just incredible. We haven't seen this in so long in baseball. and this could never, like this might be the last time we ever see it, but it's incredible to watch, Steve.
Yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to see another two-way player kind of perfect both areas of the game like Ohtani has. Everyone's raving about his batting, and why wouldn't you? He's got 14 home runs, 33 RBIs, like a 620 slugging percentage. But let's not forget, he's got the fourth highest strikeout rate in baseball as a pitcher. It's unbelievable. He's got a 2.10 ERA, and that's with his walk rate being absolutely terrible. I think 20 walks and it's 40 innings. If he just gets the walks down and turns into an ace, because guys aren't hitting his stuff when he locates it. He's got a 2.1 ERA. He's got I believe it's a 14.6 K per nine, just stupid good numbers. And he's basically first on the player rater right now across the board in ESPN. With his pitching's been good. He hasn't really gone long into games because of the high walks, but he struck out a lot of batters when he has, and then just he backs it up with the bat. I mean, he's got 10 doubles and 2 triples on top of the 14 home runs. The man's an extra base hitting machine. And I mean, I think we're looking at probably one of the next superstars in baseball for the next 5 years, and a guy who may become the consensus #1 overall pick in daily leagues for I'd say 5 years. It's pretty funny because the player before was on Ohtani's team, Mike Trout. Yep. Trout's hurt now, and Trout's still Mike Trout. He's still the best player in baseball, but I think Ohtani may become the best fantasy player in baseball just because what he can do pitching and hitting.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always something to take into account when you're looking at constructing your roster, especially within fantasy baseball, because there's so many variables within it. And you're talking about these extra base hits, and we're talking about the home runs. Someone else hitting home runs we got to talk about. We can't move on without mentioning this one. Yermin Mercedes hitting a home run off the 47-mile-per-hour fastball from Williams Astudillo. Absolutely blasting it into the Minnesota night. Tony La Russa, his own manager, is not happy with him. You had Lance Lynn even coming out kind of defending him, Mercedes as well. And all I got to say on this one, this isn't this is not Tony La Russa's first time getting in trouble with the Mercedes. Steve, what's going on with this situation?
I mean, I just wish we'd get past this. I hate, the old group of baseball where they're like, oh, it's an unwritten rule. You can't break these types of rules. This is a position player brought into a game. It was a 12-run game. The game was over. He's just throwing BP at this point. And Mercedes said, hey, if you're going to lob a 47 one in again, I'm just going to sit on it and pad my home run stats. And that's exactly what he did. And you got the old folks all, upset about it. But here's the thing. This isn't Little League. Guys aren't getting a participation trophy after every game. This is baseball, and if you just can't face the noise now, or you can't face the players that show emotion, then there's no room in the game for you anymore. We've seen the bat flips, and we've seen the outrage behind it the past couple of years, and we've always seen the unwritten rule, don't swing on a 3-0 count. Well, guess what? It's a position player, and he threw a meatball eye level at 47 miles an hour. Of course you're going to swing. Anyone wants to swing at that pitch. And I just hate that we still have to defend guys for just playing the game.
Absolutely. In baseball, there is no time clock. You can't run out the clock. That's the beauty of baseball. The game cannot win until there are 27 outs, unless you're the home team. It's 24. But you understand it. Like, no team is ever out of this because let's just say, for example, the game before you pitch 17, you go 17 innings, extra innings, whatever. You got no pitchers, and then you have to bring out a positional player to come pitch, and a team's down 6, 7, 8 runs. Like, who the hell knows what could happen? You never know, and that's one of the beauties of baseball. Don't take that away from us. And I get the aspect of not running up the score in that spot, but not when there's a positional player pitching,
right?
Because you just try not to run up a guy's ERA and whatnot so that they don't have issues, in the off season. It's kind of like a little, okay, it's all right, whatever. But we have variables now, and it's very easy to take these types of games out, and you can pull it out from people's stats. So, like, don't even worry about it. I don't get that. Whatever. We're on to the fantasy baseball aspect. Buy low. Let's start there, Steve. Who do you got?
I'm going with Francisco Lindor, and I hate doing it because I know the kind of the meme or the running joke that when a player goes to the Mets, their career kind of just falls apart. You know, when the Mets get a big signing, their career it's over. But I'm not giving up on Francisco Lindor. His numbers this year are absolutely terrible. He's batting 195, a 309 on base, and a 289 slugging, which a 289 slugging for Lindor is awful. 3 home runs, 3 steals, and just 8 RBIs so far this season. But the last 11 games, Lindor has hits in 8 of them. He's gotten his slash line up to 292, 383, and 487, which are in line with his career numbers. And if that's the case, I mean, this man's a 4-time All-Star who's got 30 home run, 20 steal potential. And I think you can get him at a discount right now. No one is going to expect, first round, second round value in return for Lindor, despite that's where he was drafted in basically every league. And I'm not giving up on him. He's a good player. He's a great defender. He's a great hitter, and he's got good speed. He's got all the tools where he's going to play every game if he's healthy. He's got, power potential, and we've seen it from him. I think 3 30-plus home run seasons. He's only got 3 this year and 8 RBIs. I mean, come on now. That has to go up. I think you could probably get Lindor at a discount right now, and you probably want to do it before, he has a breakout week. Because as we saw probably, last week with Aaron Judge, you go from a 1-in-24 stretch with 16 strikeouts, and next thing you know, he bats 500 hits, 5 home runs, and he goes from the 25th ranked outfielder to the 4th ranked outfielder in baseball. It can change just like that, especially with this superstars that can just, blow up the stat sheet for like a week straight.
No, absolutely. And I think that's a great play right there. It's something you have to do. It's not just always, when you're trying to buy low on a guy, it's not just someone who's, an up and coming player. Sometimes it's someone who's established, who's just hit some bumps in the road. You're getting used to playing in a new place and, everything else. So hopefully he does figure it out for the Mets' sake, even though they have been playing very well, the past week or two. So we'll see, what happens with Frankie. But my buy low is going to be Gavin Lux. He's owned in, about 51% of ESPN leagues right now. He's a guy coming in the past 2 years. A lot of people were very high on as a rookie. Hasn't really lived up to the hype. Just been about an average hitter, league average hitter, about 230 or so. But over the past week, hit 381 with 1 home run and 7 RBIs. I think he's, starting to really figure things out. He's going to get some consistent playing time in that with the Dodgers there. He's going to get some good coverage in the batting order as well. So he should be able to find himself in some big spots there. And he's a guy, I think, if all bodes well, should be, a career 270 to 290 range hitter. And if he can get, up there for the rest of the year, a guy who's a second baseman where people are always looking for additions because you don't get a ton of power out of the second baseman position. Gavin Lux has a little bit of pop. We'll see how much it'll translate, throughout the rest of this for a full season, because he hasn't even played a full MLB season yet because of everything. But I think it's a great addition here if you're looking for someone to help you out there in the middle infield.
Yeah, and he's a highly touted prospect the Dodgers have always loved in their system, so they're a guy they want to get at-bats for. And the Dodgers currently in 3rd in the NL West. They're only going to get better as the season goes on and as they get healthier. And with Gavin Lux, if he plays every day in that lineup, you can expect really good counting stats with the runs and RBIs as well. I like that pick.
Absolutely, and he's on a 7-game hit streak right now. So I think, he's, like I said, he's figuring it out. A whole bunch of multiple hit games in there. I think only one of the games he only had 1 hit. So I like what I'm seeing out of Gavin Lux. I think we're going to see more of that continued going forward. And for my sell high, I'm going to go with Chris Bryant. He's hitting over 300 right now, 309. He's a career 282 hitter. So I think, that's going to come down a little bit. And he seems to always in the summer find a weird doldrum within his game where whether it's a month or 2, he just kind of starts kicking rocks and just isn't there fully in every game. And his strikeout rate we've seen, it's around his career average, but it's still very high, 24%. Last year up around 27%. He was very, very bad last year. He's bounced back very well this year, and great positional offering value with the third base and outfield potential. but I think you can move him right now and really jump up in the ladder the same way you can jump down with Francisco Lindor, where you can get a guy who was a first, second round value later on. Steve, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of like that pick because the one thing I'll say about Chris Bryant, and there's a few guys that fit into this category, he's a better real life baseball player than a fantasy baseball player. And all I mean by that is Bryant, he's going to strike out a lot. So if you're in points league, not ideal. He's not going to steal a lot of bases. He's never going to really give you that speed. And he's shown, good power this year, but we've seen Chris Bryant before. His ceiling is usually, 25, 30 home runs, which is good, but he's got the name recognition where you could get a lot for, just the name and the stats he has right now. Because do I expect Bryant to keep the pace he's currently on for the rest of the year? No, I don't.
No, I think, if you're able to move him and get a good return, like that's something you have to do right now, especially like for someone like myself, I have Jose Ramirez at third base already. Like he's kind of expendable for me. I can do some maneuvers. He's the 4th ranked third baseman right now. And, looking at it, if you extrapolate this out over the full season, you're looking at about a 40 home run pace, over 100 RBIs. I don't think he's going to get to 40 home runs, Steve. I think he's going to regress at some point. But who are you selling high on?
So I've been kind of doing this all year long, and I'm just going to stick with the same formula. It's another starting pitcher who I think is pitching above their head, and it's Dylan Cease, the Chicago White Sox. In fantasy baseball, people are always desperate for starting pitchers, no matter what type of league you're in, who you're in the league with. The waiver wire pitchers it's always tough to find good ones. So you want to try to get those on a good stretch and then sell them when they're at their peak. And that's what Dylan Cease is doing right now. He's 2-0 on the year, a 2.41 ERA, a 1.22 WHIP, and 50 strikeouts in 41 innings, which is really, really good numbers. But he's got 20 walks in 41 innings. And that's the big sign for me with Cease is the walks have been a problem his whole career. This is 3rd year in the MLB, and he still hasn't figured out the walk rate. MLB average walk rate, 8.7%. Cease is looking close to 12% this year, which is not good whatsoever, but he's been getting away with it, stranding runners on base or, getting a lot of strikeouts or a lot of flyouts where guys can't advance. I just don't know if that's going to continue. He's got 8 walks in his last 3 starts, and he's only given up 1 run in those 3 starts. Something has to give here. He's only gone 6 innings or more, 2 of his 8 starts. And if he keeps walking batters at the rate he has been, we're going to see what he did in the beginning of the year where his first 3-4 starts, he couldn't get out of the first 4 innings and would walk, 3-4 guys a game. He's got, a good K rate. He's got good stuff. He just walks everybody. And I don't expect a guy like that to keep an ERA below 3. The ERA is 2.41 right now. The WHIP's 1.22. Those are both just going to go up as the season goes on. I don't think he's going to get any better than what his stats show right now. And people are desperate for starting pitching. So Dylan Cease, he's currently, one of the top pitchers on the player radar. You could get a good return for him for a guy that could find himself back on the waiver wire if he gets back into his bad habits again.
Yep, absolutely. And that's just a perfect transition, Stevie, because I'm looking at some starting pitchers that are a little bit of some bargain finds here, some bottom of the barrel guys right now, people that a lot of, everyday fantasy players might not even know. This is a little bit of a little bit of prospecting here. So I'm looking at Spencer Howard. Right now he's down with the AAA team, not because of bad performance or anything, but because the team is ramping him up to be a starter at the MLB level. In 3 starts thus far, he has a 1.0 ERA and a 38.2 strikeout percentage. He's been absolutely dicing guys up down there, and he's getting his pitch count up. He's a guy who, mid-90s, can get to upper 90s. He's hit 97. He's hit 99. He's going to normally sit around 95 or so, but he offers a very decent slider, and he has a changeup and curveball as well, so he gives you that 4-pitch arsenal, which is good once you get through that first time through the batting order. You need to at least get through a second time, and he has the stuff to be able to do that. And the team obviously sees it in him. He struggled a little bit last year with his numbers, but he was coming back off of a shoulder injury. I think he's a guy who's going to be able to figure things out. And everything I'm hearing and the stuff I've been reading out of Philadelphia is that he is, pretty much, it's like that time to, keep your binoculars on him, because he's going to be getting in his car and driving up to Philadelphia pretty much any day at this point. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him get his first start here in the next week or two, Steve.
Yeah, and that's a great pick too, because he's available in almost every league right now. So you want to jump in ahead of the curve, grab him before they announce his start. And he's got a high ceiling. He's got a very high ceiling. So these are the type of guys that you want to get before, everyone's like, oh, he's starting this week, I got to go grab him. I think I checked earlier today, it was like 3% of leagues he was owned. So I'm kind of going a similar strategy for my first, free agent pickup of the week. It's a pitcher. He's owned in 25% of leagues, so he's still available in 3/4 of ESPN leagues. It's a guy that I think could be great going forward, and the reason no one's owned him right now is because he's been hurt. It's Tony Gonsolin of the LA Dodgers. There were two big questions coming into the year with Gonsolin: health and if there was going to be a rotation spot for him. Dustin May, out for the year with Tommy John surgery. That spot is Gonsolin's to lose, and the Dodgers know that. The Dodgers are starting to work him towards that rotation spot. I believe he has a rehab starting this Friday for Oklahoma City, their AAA team. And if all goes well, we could see him activated off the 60-day IL by May 31st and thrown into the Dodgers rotation. And let me tell you, that's a rotation you want to be part of. The Dodgers have great bats, to help him out with the run support. And Gonsolin has been a very, very efficient pitcher in a small sample size, but his first 2 seasons, he's pitched 86 innings, a 2.60 ERA, 83 strikeouts, so he's got real close to a 9 K per 9 there, a .92 whip, so he's limiting base runners. He's got a really good walk rate, 6.5%, lower than the MLB average of 8.7%, and his FIP is 3.02, so it's supporting what the ERA is doing. I mean, it's very rare at this point in the season you'll find a guy who's just consistent and steady like that and available in over 50%. I mean, he's available in over 75% of leagues. And the reason he hasn't pitched yet this year, he's on the IL. If you have an IL slot available, if your league has that, go grab him right now. I made sure to do that before we came on the show today, just so no one in my league would take him. If you have that, just stash him. It's only going to be a few weeks, and then he'll probably be in the Dodgers rotation. And if you have an extra bench spot, same thing. Pick him up, because as soon as he gets called up to the Dodgers, as soon as he gets activated and says, hey, he's going to be their 5th starter going forward, everybody wants to own that guy. They've seen what he's done in the past. They know the Dodgers are a great baseball team, and Dodgers pitching has been just dominant the past few seasons. Go get him before that and watch, get his ownership. Right now it's 25%. I guarantee you once he gets activated, that thing's going to triple.
Absolutely. And something else you guys need to own right now, the Lawnmower 4.0. Yeah, that's right. Manscaped is back with another innovation. They've improved their patented lawnmower ball trimmer. Yeah, that's right. We're trimming the family jewels, making sure everything is nice for the summer. You don't want to be sweating down there. And this bad boy has a 4,000K LED light. The light you never knew you needed until you use it. It's absolutely incredible. Helps out a ton. You don't realize how much you need it, like I said, until it works. They have a new addition with a guard that's actually going to be able to be adjustable on this one. So you'll be able to get multiple different lengths if that's your style. So you can do whatever you want with Manscaped and the Lawnmower 4.0. And we're going to help you out here and get yourself 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code TRAINWRECK over at manscaped.com. Again, that's promo code TRAINWRECK at manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping. And now my second pickup here for this week, Stevie. I'm going with Luis Arayas from the Minnesota Twins. He's a guy who's only owned in 35% of leagues, but he offers you third base, second base, outfield versatility. And over his short, young career thus far, he's hit 319 across 157 games. His batting average is down a little bit this year, just 274. Doesn't offer a bunch of power potential, but like I mentioned earlier, at that second base position, if you can get a guy who's going to hit over 300 and play every day and give you, that versatility, like I said, if someone else is out or whatever, to move around and be able to give you a utility guy like that, that's exactly what you'd like in your lineup. He's just going to be able to help you every day, even if he's not going to be in your starting lineup every day. He's a perfect bench player. Again, Luis Arraez, the Venezuelan. Steve, what's your last free agent pickup for the week?
So my final one, I'm going with Cole Irvin of the Oakland Athletics. He's in like 46% of leagues right now, so he's still available in over half of ESPN leagues. So you can go grab him. He's just a steady starter for the Oakland Athletics, who pitch in a pitcher-friendly ballpark, and I think he's earned a rotation spot for the rest of the season. He kind of struggled his first two major league seasons. I believe he was in the Phillies organization, but since he switched over to Oakland, it's been a new life for him. 5 quality starts in his last 6 starts, 3.02 ERA this year, a 1.07 WHIP, and a really good strikeout to walk ratio, 39 strikeouts to just 8 walks this year. He doesn't walk anybody. He's pitched 47 innings. He's been just a steady Eddie type of pitcher that I kind of like. Is if you have a couple, high potential aces, maybe you got the risk reward, high strikeout guys. Cole Irvin is just a guy you can throw into your lineup and expect, hey, he's going to give me 6 good innings, maybe give up, 1, 2 runs, strike out 5 batters. And I know he's not going to get himself into trouble. He doesn't walk guys. He doesn't, put guys on base. So if he's going to get beat, it's going to be by the other team's bats. And so far this season, Cole Irvin's done a really good job of limiting the hard hits and just keeping the ball in the ballpark. And I think less than 50%, especially at this point in the season, you're not going to find that on the waiver wire right now. So I'm grabbing Cole Irvin.
No, absolutely. And another guy we got to keep our eyes on, Alec Manoa, pitching with Trenton Thunder / Buffalo Blue Jays right now. He's going to be getting another start tomorrow. That'll be Thursday. I think we're going to be showing this on Thursday, so tonight. But Manoa, the 5th-ranked Blue Jays prospect, in 2 starts thus far, 15 Ks, 0 earned runs, only a .417 WHIP. He said coming into the season here with the Bisons, the one thing he learned through spring training and all those practices there at the facilities where they had a few scrimmages with some other teams and whatnot, that his stuff plays at this level. And that's the biggest thing in pitching is your confidence. And he believes in the things he's doing, and he's added a lot to his arsenal as well. He's a guy who, before fastball, slider, changeup, well, he's added, a sinker. He's added a 2-seamer. Like, he's added a bunch of variations into his pitches. Like we've said, once you get through that lineup once or twice, like, you have to start doing some things. And if you look at his first start there in Buffalo, he, against the lefty, he's battling everything off. And what did he do? He went with that 2-seamer falling back onto the foot of the, the lefty there, and just unbelievable to get that strikeout after fouling off, being able to recognize that, and just being on the same page with the catcher down there to get that done. So it's what you'd love to see. I think he has the mindset right now to really come for that spot with Ross Stripling there, really, really struggling for the Blue Jays. Pretty much the only kind of chink in their armor right now is that last spot in the rotation. If, Manoa grabs it, he grabs it. He might, beat Nate out for it. And if Nate's, a potential bullpen guy for the rest of the season, that's okay. If you can get him, build up his confidence this year to start next year, he's 24. You'd like him to be capable to start right now. But if that's what you have to do to get to the playoffs, that's fine. I'm entirely okay with that. And Manoa will be a guy, 14.3 Ks per 9. He's a potential guy to add if he gets called up, because he's going to get you some strikeouts no matter what.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I want to stress this too. Ty B, you and I, we both love our prospects. We both love looking into them, and we're just going to try to get you guys, the little news, the little tidbits, So you can pick these guys up, a week or two before they get called up. But did it already with Kalenic, did it already with Kopech, and I think Manoa, he's going to be up sooner than later. And the way he's just been pitching, it's another sign of the organization just can't, keep him down. His play.
And it's kind of like the same thing right now with Wander Franco, and you have is it Duran? Oh, what's the outfielder? Oh, I can't think of it. I think it's Duran.
For the Rays.
It's like you can't call him up over Wander. So like doing Wander doesn't even have a spot to get consistent at bats if you call him up right now until you have an injury. So I think you're going to see a trade soon out of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, and Willy Adames has been struggling too.
Bruhan, that's what it is.
It's Willy Adames has been struggling too. So it really is with these prospects. It's just opportunity more than we know they can play. We've seen what they can do in the minors. It's just a matter of opportunity. And to your point earlier, Manoa has that opportunity with the way Strickland's been playing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So make sure you guys stay tuned in for more Trainwreck Fantasy baseball coverage throughout the year. Follow us over there at TWS Fantasy on Twitter. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Goes a long way. Plus, I believe Al Maniac are doing a big giveaway, so make sure you go check that out on Twitter to find all the entries, or the rules for entry and whatnot. So make sure you guys do that. A chance to win yourself some free money. Going to be having a ton of playoff coverage throughout the week, so make sure you guys tune in between 6 and 7 every day throughout for the Trainwreck Playoff Happy Hour. And shout out again to some guy named Steve for joining me here on this one. Let's go get that. Or no. That's not a good one. That's not a good one. Let's do this. Let's do this. As they say in baseball, let's do that baseball. No.